Well, if you're like me and you are looking for a car, maybe an apartment, or perhaps a date, you always go to the same place on the internet, and you know it, I'm sure you're saying it right now, Craigslist, that's right. Well, tonight we have with us the founder of Craigslist, Craig Newmark. Welcome, Craig.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. I know people out there are saying, so that's Craig of Craigslist. You were born in Morristown, New Jersey.
Yep. Northern New Jersey, about 56 years ago.
Uh-huh. What brought you out to San Francisco from New Jersey?
After 40 years on the East Coast, I figured it was time for a change. And I was looking at Seattle, San Francisco, and San Francisco just felt like a better fit for me.
Did you come out for a job, or?
I kind of chose city, and then, well, Charles Schwab and Company was kind enough to make me a job offer and to move me from the East Coast.
Now, you mentioned that you had a few jobs here before you came up with this wonderful idea. Now, what was the inspiration for Craigslist? Where did that start?
Well, there was no real inspiration. It has to do with the way Craigslist started. I saw a lot of people helping each other out while I was evangelizing the internet at Charles Schwab, and figured by early '95 that I should do something to give just a little back. So I started a simple CC list, maybe 10 or 12 friends, about cool events in San Francisco, what I thought were cool, at least arts and technology things, like the Anon Salon, which is a fundraiser for Climate Theater, or Joe's Digital Diner. And then from there, I listened to people. I actually engaged the audience from the very beginning, collaborated with them, listened to suggestions, and then did something about those suggestions, and then listened some more. And that's our pattern to today under Jim Buckmaster, who runs Craigslist now. We listen to people, we try to do something about it, and then we listen to some more.
When you started, you said that it was a CC list and that you went to bring events to the surface so people can find the fun things to do in the city. At what point did it start opening up to job applications? I know real estate was very big, and rentals.
Well, the way it evolved was in '95. The list kept spreading via word of mouth. More people wanted to be on the list. They passed it around to other friends, and people started suggesting other categories, like jobs or stuff to sell. And I said, hey, how about apartments, since that's when the apartment shortage began in San Francisco, '95. And it just kept growing from there. And in a way, that's a pattern now. People suggest things to us, and we try to figure out what makes sense.
And that's a wonderful model to be able to let the people shape the outcome.
Well, that's a collaborative model. Some people, like Jay Rosen, call it a culture of participation.
Ah, yes.
And it occurred to me recently that when you apply the culture of participation model to government, the term for that is democracy.
And so they're able to build something that is their own, but you do have to have a little bit of working with them in order to have guidelines within this to make sure it doesn't go too far out.
Well, the guidelines come from the people who use the site or who are the citizens of a country. You do have to balance consensus building with sometimes the need to make a decision. So sometimes you actually need people around who can do stuff. Like in Wikipedia, Jimmy Wales is sometimes the benevolent dictator. But the idea is that in a genuinely democratic system, it's the people who use the thing, the citizens or community members or customers, who really should drive things.
And that is evident with the pages, at least that I've seen, where there is a, you're able to flag something.
Yeah, our site is largely self-policing. If you see an ad that's wrong for some reason, you can flag it for review. I should say flag for removal. And if other people agree with you and flag it for removal, it's gone automatically. We have ways of looking at trends and so on and flagging, and we do have the power to remove lots of ads from people who are abusing the site.
Now, you're all over. How far out is Craigslist gone now? I mean, it's in major cities in the United States.
Well, we're in about 560, 570 cities across the world. I think 55 countries.
Wow. Did you ever when you first started your CC list, ever in your wildest dreams think that it might get to be this large?
Well, I have no vision at all, and I kind of realize consciously that it is fairly big, but in some respects, well, it feels just like something I just got to do every day. Get up and roll out of bed and do customer service.
Uh-huh.
And it's all kind of surreal. And I reflect on that for a moment now and then it's back to work.
Back to work again. It's gotten so popular, it's gotten so big. Do you sometimes wish it didn't happen? Because I'm sure that you can't go anywhere now without people recognizing you and just having this, creating this persona now that you can't just, walk through San Francisco and not be noticed.
Well, no, there are very few people who will recognize me. The deal is that it's very difficult to find a photo of me on the site, and unless there was a photo on the very home page, people just aren't going to know. Mm-hmm. Now, in my immediate neighborhood at Coal Valley, the girlfriend tells me that people do recognize me now and then, but they react when I'm not looking. Mm-hmm. But she's still looking.
Now, the obvious question is going to be, did you meet her on Craigslist?
No, I met her at the local cafe.
Oh, that's wonderful. Very cool. And do you think that you personally have changed since this has all happened in any way?
Definitely have changed in that doing customer service for all this time does change you. You see a lot of what people really need. You see a lot of people who are struggling, even suffering, more so now.
Yeah.
The wreckage of the previous administration. But you just try to give people a break. You deal with the trolls or other bad guys, and you keep going.
You have people that have used it for finding dates. I've used it myself for apartments, for my car, for all these wonderful things. I'm going to ask you, is there anything that people have tried to sell or purchase that's just so bizarre?
I can't think of much bizarre. Mm-hmm. My favorite, which you may or may not think of as bizarre, it's in the best of Craigslist someplace. A guy tried to hire someone else to take the CPA ethics test for him. Oh, no. And that's still my favorite.
That's a good one. I like that. Now, and also I've seen a lot of bartering. So it's not for money. They want to barter this for that. And I think that's such a wonderful thing, especially now with the economy being how it is. You've built up, I have all of these, but I need one of those. And how wonderful of an idea is that?
Yeah, the deal is a lot of people are bartering, which is a good way to make do in the current economy. Mm-hmm. And there's still a lot of people who are giving stuff away free. I'll be giving away a bed shortly regarding that.
Oh, did you hear that, everybody?
And it's generally a collaborative environment where people will help each other out. It's kind of like a flea market. Mm-hmm. And people go to flea markets as much to socialize as to do business.
That's true. And it has formed such a community. I'm going to read something off of your blog.
Okay.
David Weinberger, another commentator I respect highly, once captured this more metaphorically, saying Google feels like ours, even though it legally belongs to its shareholders. Weblogs feel like they're ours, while online columns do not. The Mac feels like it's ours. Craigslist feels like it's ours. How do you develop that? How does it become ours?
Well, first by following through with basic values that we all share, like the notion that you want to treat people like you want to be treated. Mm-hmm. Again, it's easy to say that, much harder to follow through. And the idea then is just to work with people, to form what you're doing, and to listen to them and try to do something about it. That creates a collaborative environment or a culture of participation. Mm-hmm. That's one of my new favorite phrases.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
And you do that, you keep following through. The phrase culture of trust also applies. Mm-hmm. And you build that with your community, and then you work on it some more every day, and just keep doing it.